Hello everyone, this is Carmen again. So I'm going to do a video on how to breastfeed successfully. This video has been really well researched. All the information in this video comes from one of the 4 resources, which is the World Health Organization, the Canadian Pediatrics Society, the American Association of Pediatrics, and the Public Health Association of Canada. Now these are all extremely reliable, credible, government-run organizations that provide only facts that could be used as proven facts. So unless I exclusively say that this is my opinion or from my experience, you can take everything I say as fact, because I have done so much research to ensure that this video is accurate, up-to-date, and reliable. Alright, so let's get started. How to breastfeed successfully. The World Health Organization recommends that breastfeeding should begin within 1/2 hour after the birth. Breastfeeding should be done on demand, as often as your child needs, night and day. Bottles or pacifiers should be avoided for at least 6 weeks in order to prevent nipple confusion. Breast milk is readily available and affordable, which helps you to ensure your infant is always getting an adequate amount of substance. Alright. Sorry about that. Amberly woke up and I decided, since I'm making a video on how to successfully breastfeed, I wouldn't mind breastfeeding her on camera. So, I hope you don't mind either, but if you're watching this video, you're interested in breastfeeding anyways, so. Breast milk is readily available and affordable, which helps to ensure that your infant is getting an adequate sustenance. Breastfeeding has to be learned, and many women, including myself, encounter difficulties in the beginning. Nipple pain and the fear that your baby is not getting enough milk are often deterrents that will prevent women from breastfeeding, but that's not the case. The Public Health Agency of Canada has 5 recommendations to promote successful breastfeeding. Number 1 is start early. Provide the opportunity to breastfeed within 1/2 hour after your baby is born. When babies still have all the adrenaline from their birth in their systems, this is when they're most alert and most aware and most likely to start successfully breastfeeding. Every baby is different. Some babies will nuzzle the breast and kind of lick at it. This is likely if you had medication during your labor and it makes your baby a little bit groggy. Whereas other babies will just latch and suckle well right away. Premature and sick babies should begin breastfeeding as soon as their condition allows them to. Number 2 is encourage frequent, unrestricted, baby-led feedings. Babies nurse on cue, or commonly referred to as on demand. It is important you look at your baby and not the clock. Your baby should not have to cry to tell you that they are hungry. That means you missed all the signs before that they were hungry. Let your baby eat as often as they need and as long as they need to eat. On average, newborns will eat between 8 and 12 times a day and night in a 24-hour period. Infant cues that they are hungry before they cry include rapid eye movement, waking up, stretching, stirring, hand-to-mouth activity, oral activities such as suckling, licking, and rooting. Okay, number 3. Allow for maximum mother-baby contact. While you're in the hospital, you should try and share a room with your baby during your stay. Cuddle with your baby and build a close bond. Bonding provides you better knowledge of your baby's specific cues, because every baby is different. Proper position and latch at the breast is key to mom's comfort, adequate milk production, infant growth, and the prevention of sore nipples, engorgement, and breast infections. There are 3 main positions for breastfeeding. The cradle hold, which is what I'm doing with Amberly right now, lying down, which is where you lie on your side and position the baby at the breast, and the football hold, which I am not doing, but it's where you hold the baby's head to your breast and their legs go out behind you, kind of like you're carrying a football. The cradle hold, this one, is the easiest for the baby to learn on. However, if you had a C-section like I did, it is harder to position the baby right above where your scar is and where the incision is, where it's still sore. So the football hold is recommended if you've had a C-section. Comfort is critical to a successful latch and for breastfeeding in general. There will probably be some initial discomfort or your baby latches, but this should not persist for more than a couple weeks. Utilize the hospital staff, nurses, lactation consultants, etc. These guys are experts, and they can help make sure your breastfeeding is well established before you leave. Okay, number 5 is ensure exclusive breastfeeding. Breastfed babies should not receive any other foods or fluids for 6 months, and avoid pumping into a bottle or using pacifiers for at least 6 weeks to avoid nipple confusion. Supplementing with formula will not only diminish your milk production, it will also alter the chemical balance in your baby's stomach. A lot of mothers feel concerned their baby is not getting enough milk, so they switch to formula. Mothers need reassurance that not only is breastfeeding the most natural, best way to feed your baby, it is what your breasts are designed for. Your boobs were made to nurse your baby. Evaluating whether breastfeeding is going well involves assessing a number of criteria, such as the effectiveness of feedings, your baby's poop and urine color, and your baby's growth. Moms can be sure breastfeeding is going well if the following signs present. Your baby is nursing frequently, 8 to 12 times a day, and effectively. Effectively means your baby is hungry at the beginning of the nursing. You can hear them swallowing or a quiet caw sound during feeding, and your baby seems more satisfied towards the end of feeding. Also, your breast should feel hard before and soft after. Your baby's poop should be soft or liquid. After the meconium poop, which is that black tar poop they have for the first 4 days after birth, which is caused because your baby is getting colostrum and not breast milk. But after that passes, your baby's poop should be soft or liquidy. The normal color for baby's poop is like a whole range of colors. It could be orange, it could be green, it could be yellow, as long as if it's not brown, black, or white. Those are bad colors. The urine should be pale and odorless. And your baby is alert and growing well. If all those have been met, then breastfeeding is going effectively and efficiently, and you should not be worried about whether or not your baby is getting enough milk. Also, since your baby relies on you for getting all its nutrients, you should make sure that you are eating healthy too. According to the Public Health Agency of Canada, it is a myth that you need to eat more to produce enough milk to feed your baby. There's a ton more information on breastfeeding. If you want to access all that and all the myths that they have on their page, I'm going to put a link below that will provide you access to the Public Health Canada website. This is all in my opinion now. Everything before this was absolute fact. It was from accredited agencies, but now this is my opinion. Important investments for breastfeeding mothers should include the following items. This stuff, Lancino nipple cream for breastfeeding mothers. This is what it looks like. Purple bottle. If you can see, I'm going to push a little bit out. It's a really thick gel cream. It's transparent. It goes on your nipples. This was really effective for me when I first started breastfeeding, because I got the sore nipples because Amberly didn't latch properly right away. This goes on your nipples to help soothe them, and it works wonderfully. It is completely edible for your baby, so you don't have to wipe it off afterwards. It's edible for babies, so that is a giant plus. I found it worked the best if after you put it on, you let your nipples, let it air dry on there instead of just covering them up right away. So Lancino nipple cream is a must-have. The other must-have is breast pads. This one is a Johnson breast pad. I've used Lancino, I've used Johnson's, I've used Medela. Pretty much every baby brand makes breast pads. I find personally the best ones are the Lancino ones. They're in a purple box. But you know, they're pretty much all the same thing. This is, yeah, like I said, this is the Johnson one. It has an adhesive sticker, so it'll stick to your bra. Johnson's is nice is because they provide the little nipple pouch, so that because your nipples are often really hard when you're breastfeeding, so they sit nicely in there. This is so important because I can't even count how many times I wasn't wearing this and I would get giant wet spots from where your milk leaks out because your letdown happens. A lot of people say that if they hear another baby crying or their baby crying, their letdown happens right away and then you're soaked if you don't have these. For me, that wasn't the case. I just kind of leaked constantly because I have a lot of milk. I produce a lot of milk, so I was constantly leaking, and I do not know where I'd be without these. I think I would have had a lot of embarrassing situations in public, so these are a godsend. This is vitamin D drops. My doctor and my pediatrician for Amberly recommended that I supplement her with vitamin D drops, and this does not count as like a supplement like food or formula or feeding. This is just to ensure that she's getting enough this is just to ensure that she's getting enough vitamins. So this is what it's called, DV Sol. It's available at any pharmacy. It's like 10 bucks, I think, here in Canada anyways. And the doctor recommends it because you don't get enough vitamin D from everyday activities, so you can't provide it for your baby in your breast milk, so they recommend you use the vitamin D drops. This is my other thing that I could not live without while breastfeeding, is a nursing bra. Here it is. I got this one at Walmart for like, I think $12. You can get them at Sears, you can get them Zellers, you can get them absolutely anywhere. I learned in my prenatal class from my instructor. I have no idea where her resource was, but if you wear an underwire bra, it'll put pressure on your milk ducts and it'll actually cause them not to produce milk. So underwire bra or a nursing bra is an absolute must because underwire can prohibit you from getting enough milk supply to your baby. Remember, breastfeeding is perfectly normal and natural, and it's a completely beautiful experience. So don't feel discouraged to not breastfeed in public. Very few bathrooms that I have ever seen have nursing chairs in them, and people can't honestly expect you to feed your baby while sitting on a toilet. If you wouldn't eat your food off of a public toilet, then nobody can expect your baby to. For some reason, haters are gonna hate, and if people come up and say to you, oh, you should go do that in private, just smile and nod, because breastfeeding is the absolute best thing for your baby. And if you can eat out in the open, why can't your baby? As long as if you're not like exposing yourself and making a big scene out of it. If you are just subtly feeding your baby, all the power to you. You have tons of mothers around the world who will openly support you. I know in Prince George we have once a year where mothers get together and we all breastfeed at a park in public, and it's basically, it's kind of like a protest, I guess, but it's to try and promote breastfeeding as completely normal, natural, and normalize it, which is so important. So don't let people who have negative opinions about breastfeeding make you feel bad about yourself. They're insensitive and uninformed. Feel proud of breastfeeding because it is truly the best thing for you and your baby. So that is all. That is how you can start breastfeeding successfully. In conclusion, I gave you a whole bunch of statistics from various organizations that are reliable on how they recommend that you should breastfeed. I showed you what I use, what I could not live up without when I started breastfeeding. And yeah, so subscribe to my videos. I'm gonna have updates on my daughter Amberly's development. I'm gonna try and put an update up every single week. So check that out. And I'm also gonna have fun little informative videos like this. If you have any suggestions on informative videos, please let me know. I would love to hear your suggestions. So thank you for watching.